Hello, NBA enthusiasts, and welcome to the seventh part of the NBA, the week that was. We are now back on schedule with the Sunday release, and from now on, Sunday evening will be the release time for new episodes, barring any inconveniences. This week, we saw a double overtime thriller between two Western Conference powerhouses and some bad blood between players and former management. Also, a new feature this edition is some pictures of players involved in our discussion. Let's not wait a moment and tip off the seventh episode of the NBA, the week that was. On Sunday, the first-seeded Toronto Raptors took on the third-seeded Indiana Pacers. I was expecting a close game, but the Raptors defied my odds and blew the Pacers out 121 to 105. It was a great team effort by the Raptors with 8 players in double-digit scoring. Norman Powell led the scoring for the Raptors with 23 points off the bench. The Pacers' biggest performance came from Domantas Sabonis, who had 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. Looking back, the Pacers have been a team I've overlooked in this series, so let's discuss them. Despite this loss, they sit in the third seed with a 28-14 record. Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis have been key in their rise this year. Initially, when Paul George was traded to the Thunder in the 2017 offseason, I and all of the NBA community believe that the Pacers got robbed. However, Oladipo and Sabonis' play this year has led them to a better record than the Thunder this. With the pace they are on right now, no pun intended, I think they can stay as a 3 or 4 seed and have home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. On Monday, the Lakers took on the Mavericks, only to defeat them 107 to 97. Josh Hart was the best player for the Lakers, and in my opinion, the player of the game. He played 44 out of the 48 minutes, and ended up with 14 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 steals. His all-around performance was key to the Lakers' victory. With this game between two teams who are looking to make the playoffs, after each suffering a significant playoff drought, let's talk about what is going on in the Western Conference. There's only a 6-game gap between the 1st to the 8th seed, and only a 4.5-game gap between the 8th and the 14th team. Every game from now on is crucial for each team which is not named the Suns. Anything can happen, and if I were to give you my current playoff prediction, I would have the Warriors in first, the Thunder in second, the Nuggets in third, the Trailblazers in fourth, the Rockets in fifth, the Lakers in sixth, the Clippers in seventh, and the Spurs in eighth. On Tuesday, the Warriors defeated the Knicks 122 to 95. Klay Thompson was unbelievable in this matchup. He scored an astounding 43 points on only 4 dribbles. That is so tough to do, and I really do commend him for it. For me, he is one of the, if not the best, catch-and-shoot player in this league. More good news for the Warriors fans is that All-Star DeMarcus Cousins will be making his first appearance on an NBA court since late January of 2018. His first game is projected to be on Friday, January 18th. The former Pelicans signed with the Warriors on a deal that shocked the globe. 5 All-Stars on one team? That is stuff of the 60s with teams like the Boston Celtics. No one imagined it could have happened, but it did. Let's see how Steve Kerr adjusts DeMarcus into his system and if his one-year deal was worth it or not. On Wednesday, the soaring Houston Rockets were taken down by the Milwaukee Bucks 123 to 116. Despite the loss, James Harden finished with 42 points and 11 rebounds. Giannis had a low-key yet 100% meaningful 27-point, 21-rebound night. Both these players were coming into the game as MVP favorites, and with the way they have been playing, they both deserve it. Harden is averaging 34 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists a night in a season better than last season in which he won the MVP. Giannis is averaging 26 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists, along with leading the Bucks to a second seed in the East. It's very close, but overall, I believe Harden deserves this award due to the fact that he can dominate a game whenever he wants to and can always create points. He's just too fun to watch, which is my biased reason to hand him his second MVP honors. Thursday featured one of the games of the season in a double overtime masterpiece between the Spurs and the Thunder. It took 2 extra periods, but the Spurs pulled away with the win, 154 to 147. There were so many outstanding performances from both teams, but LaMarcus Aldridge and Russell Westbrook were the best players from their respective teams. Aldridge had 56 points and 9 rebounds, as well as 4 blocks to lead the Spurs, while Russell Westbrook had a video game-like stat line with 24 points, 24 assists, and 13 rebounds. This game was so entertaining to watch, and I genuinely do hope that there are more games like this one down the road, especially in the playoffs. Imagine a Game 7 of a playoff series going down to the wire till a second overtime. What a ride that would be. On Friday, my Atlanta Hawks did me proud and defeated the Philadelphia 76ers 123-121. This was quite the unexpected win for the Hawks. The Sixers were coming into this game with the best record at home in the league, yet they still fell to the young Atlanta Hawks. Sixers star Ben Simmons quoted, "We were too soft." The Hawks were led by rookie Kevin Huerter, who had a career-high 29 points on 11 of 17 shooting. The rebuilding Hawks franchise currently sits in 12th place in the East, and ESPN projects them to have a top 5 pick. Another piece of great news for me and my fellow Hawks fans is that if the Mavericks pick falls out of the top 5, the Hawks receive that pick. This means we have a great chance of 2 lottery picks, which will certainly help us in our rebuild. Our last game of this episode was between the Pistons and the Clippers. This was Blake Griffin's first game back in LA after the shocking trade which sent him to Detroit last year. Blake was clearly unhappy with this deal, and he showed it that night. He started off by ignoring Clippers owner Steve Ballmer when he went up to shake his hand. Then he proceeded to drop 44 points to leave the Clippers wondering why they let him go. The Pistons did win 109-104 to rub more salt in the wound. The Clippers did blindside him last year. They told him he would be the face of the franchise. They gave him a multi-year deal, and then they traded him. I really understand Blake's actions towards the Clippers franchise and do not consider them rude. And that wraps up the latest episode of this podcast. I hope everyone enjoyed the images shown throughout the video. Thinking about it, this really isn't a podcast anymore. I continue to use your feedback to strengthen my videos. Things I'm considering for the future is doing a face cam and eventually having videos, images, and audio all in one episode. Please stick around as this series moves along to continue learning more about the NBA every single week. Well, that's all I have for you today, so I'll catch you in the next episode of the NBA, the week that was. See ya!